What's up guys, my name is Barry Michael Doyle and welcome to part 8 of building a YouTube search application with React Native. Now in the last video we ended up making things look quite pretty over here. I did notice one bug, which was bugging me last time, is here we have this little open space here, and this is a space on the card for a title. Now we're going to fix that before we move on, but let me just mention that by the end of this video we're going to be able to search these YouTube videos. Well, we can already search them, but we're going to be able to open these videos on YouTube. So there's Daniel Peacock's face again as usual. Let's head over to our code. So here we are in our code. I'm at the video list item component that we created, and the first thing I want to do is fix that title issue. So what the card usually does is it expects a title, and you can write anything here. Now currently the title is just empty, but we want to make the title non-existent. So before it was an empty string, we're going to remove it completely. By removing this title, we will lose the... Okay, well this has to actually just save that. It's going to reload now, and my internet is a bit slow today, so this can actually help us with showing off the loading button. Click search, and bam, it's loading. And this is going to take a while because I'm uploading a bunch of videos in the background. So let me just mention that when this is done loading, we should see no more gap above the videos. It should just be smooth cards without any space there and dividers in between. There we go, all complete. So as you can see, that little gap bug that I originally had that was bugging me is all gone. So let's move on. Another thing I wanted to do before we continue is go to our application component, the root component, and I want to show you guys something called, I was going to say on component, it's called component will mount. Now it can also be component did mount, but component will mount is basically a lifecycle function that runs in this component. It's running an application at the moment. You can use it with any lifecycle components. So we can't use it for app header, but we can use it for search bar. And video list item are also functionless components, so we can't use them there unless we change them to lifecycle components. Oops, I actually made something here that I need to delete because this is spoilers. So let's go back here. We have our component will mount, and this is a function that basically whenever the component is ready to render and it's about to mount, we can run any sort of functions in here. So in my case, I just want to say I want to run this function over here, the this.search YouTube function, which is basically referring to this. And by default, I wanted to search my name because let me just plug myself for a second. So this means that whenever the app is about to load, because this is the app component, this is always going to be the first component that loads. Whenever the app is starting up, it will run this function. So by default, I don't have to click search. By default, it will automatically search Barry Michael Doyle videos. So there we go. It's already started up and it's loading. And again, because my internet is slow, it's taking a while, but there we go. We found our stuff. Got our first video that we ever made there, and there's the first one of the series, and there's the third one of the series, and well, the rest, this was recorded a while after those were released. So let's get back to our application. What we want to do now is add a button to our video list item. And we're going to do it inside our card and inside this content style at the bottom over here. Now what I actually want to do is create quite a specific button, so I'm going to add a bunch of things to it. So I thought what's best to do is add this to a separate component, which I spoiled there by deleting it there. What I want to do here is add a watch button. Oops, it's supposed to be a caret this way around. Watch button. And I haven't created it yet, but I just want to have this watch button, and it wants to take a video ID because we want to know which video we want to watch. And this video ID is going to be equal to the video.id.video ID. I don't have it open at the moment, but we had that object of arrays. Every video comes with a whole bunch of details. Now, each video also comes with an ID and two types of IDs. You get the channel ID and you get the video ID. So we want the video ID specifically. Now, I'm going to create an element, or component, sorry, not an element. And it's going to be called watched button. Not button, button. and we're going to get it from the same directory that's currently in, which is just also going to be called watch button. Now, yes, that's freaking out because watch button doesn't exist yet, but don't worry, we will fix that. At least it's fixed down here. So let's go to our components, and we are going to add a new file called watchButton.js. And in here, this is going to be a stateless functional component. So pretty much just like the app header, the video list, and the video list item, we'll import React from React without the component because we don't have to worry about that. Because this is not a lifecycle component. And we're going to import button. And you can get button from React Native and button from React Native Elements. And we're going to use the React Native Elements button because it's just much nicer to use. And then what a button is going to do is it's going to make use of the web browser. So we import web browser from Expo. And this is just another reason Expo is really great. You can just open your web browser using Expo. Thank you, Expo, for that. And now let's make our component. It's const watch button equals, and then here you put your props. But remember, we only put it in one prop called video ID. So this is video ID from props. It's capital I, small d. That's a nice convention of naming it. And here's our function. Oh, we're not going to have any other stuff going here, so we're just going to straight up return it. So export default watch button. Now, what do we want to return? We would like to return, what's going on here? Is it freaking out? Okay, I think it's just because we haven't done anything yet. We're going to return a button. That's going to have a bunch of things in it. And this button is going to, oh, that's what the problem is here. This is, no, this is fine, sorry. I'm just freaking out because I'm seeing red lines and I know they're going to be fixed later. So our button is going to have a raised property. This just makes it look cooler, like it's raised above on a new layer. And then we're also going to have a title for our button called Watch on YouTube. That's a suitable title. And we want to give it a nice icon. The icon takes this object with a name, and we're going to say play dash arrow. That's a nice icon for playing a video. And then there's some special styles that we're going to get in here. We're going to get a container view style. And this is going to be margin top 10. Because if we don't have this, the button's going to stick right to the description, and we don't want that. We also want to give this a background color, which is nice about the React Native Elements buttons. You can just set the background color as a property. We're going to set this to the, it's E62117. That's the YouTube red color. And now we want to finally do our onPress function. So when this button is pressed, we want to call the function. We split it out because it's actually going to be a few things. There we go. Things are finally cleaner now. This is just freaking out that we haven't used video ID yet and we haven't used web browser yet, but we're going to use that now. So what we want to do is on the press, we want to call the function, and that function is going to do this. It's going to say web browser dot open browser async. That just means it's opening it asynchronously, so it doesn't happen. Other functions can happen while this is happening, which is quite cool. That's the importance of async functions. And in here, our only parameter is going to be our URL, which we haven't got yet, but we do have our video ID. So here's something cool I'm going to show you. It's a nice ES6 thing. I think it's from ES6. Use a backtick. So instead of using these single quotes, you use a backtick, which is, it's the button under escape for Windows keyboards. And we want to say https dash dash, that's not dash dash, double slash m for the mobile site .youtube.com/watch, and then we add the parameter of v equals, that stands for the video ID. And this is where things get cool. We can insert this video ID straight into the string over here by saying $, open close curly brackets, and video ID. So this basically inserts this straight into the string that we have here, which is really cool. I mean, you can add some other stuff here and say and time equals 3 seconds or something, but it's a bit out of our scope of what we're doing. Now, we could also open it we could open the YouTube app using some special component in React just called linking, or React Native. It's called React Native. It's called linking, and you can use that. But I'm just assuming, let's make this for general users. We know that they have a web browser. All phones have a web browser, so this will work on every phone. Not every phone will have YouTube installed, so we just have that sorted out. And there we go. We can go back to our video list item, and we can see that the watch button is all working fine. So let's head back to our app. See, okay, things are loading because things have just reloaded on our page. I hope that's the case at least. And yeah, my internet's a bit slow today, so that's going to be an issue. Let me just... Oh, I don't have to skip forward to it because it's shown. So now we have our watch button. There we go. Looks really cool. I got 3 of my videos on here. So let's check out video number 3 when we split our app into separate components. And hopefully this works. I'm going to click now. Click. And there we go. It opens up in the browser. Now again, my internet's slow because I'm uploading videos in the background. So let me fast forward until this page is finished loading. Be right back. There we go, guys. It is open and running. I'm the only one who's liked this so far. So this just came out at the time of recording. This came out yesterday, and it's got like no views because I'm not popular yet. But basically, the video is loading. Internet is slow, so that's going to take a while. But you can at least see there's our search results, and there's links to my other videos, etc. as well, and then just random other things. So yeah, this is going to cover it for today's video. We got our whole application working actually. In the next video, we're going to tie things off with showing you how to export this into an APK file or IPA file. That way we can actually deploy this to the App Store. I'm not going to go through that full process there, but I'll show you how to at least get the packaged files all ready to go for production. Anyway, guys, keep well, and as usual, if you like the video, leave a like. Please subscribe so you can stay up to date with new content coming out, and throw in some comments for suggestions on how I can improve or what you'd like to see. Keep well, guys. Ciao.